This is an open video to Merrick Garland, the United States Attorney General. The following statement was written by a man who graduated from Stanford. He states, quote, "No artist can lay claim to the controversy that has surrounded the career of songwriter James Damiano. 45 years ago, James Damiano began an odyssey that led him into a legal maelstrom with Bob Dylan that, to this day, fascinates the greatest of intellectual minds." End quote. September 15, 1995, James Damiano filed a copyright infringement lawsuit against Bob Dylan in the United States Federal District Court. This website and the record of the court substantiate one of the United States federal government's largest verifiable frauds upon the court, diminishing the integrity of the federal judiciary to the level of the criminals it prosecutes. According to the record of the court, it is verified, substantiated, and conclusive that in James Damiano's copyright infringement lawsuit against Bob Dylan, the court was negligent in maintaining integrity, legitimacy, honesty, and lawfulness. Bob Dylan was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Obama. While receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Bob Dylan was utilizing a federal gag order on James Damiano. On March 14, 1996, Judge Joe B. Rosen granted Bob Dylan a confidentiality order for all discovery materials to be designated as confidential. The discovery materials included 50 hours of videotape depositions, all of which incriminated Bob Dylan, 132 answers to defendant Bob Dylan's 132 questions of interrogatories, 1,000-page chronicle plaintiff statement displaying the true facts of the case, 11 years of documented correspondence between James Damiano, CBS, Sony, and Bob Dylan's management and entourage, a corroborated scholarly music analysis of a Grammy-nominated song from a Harvard-graduated musicologist with a doctorate, who claimed both Damiano and Dylan's song bear the exact melodic arc. Blatant published admissions of guilt by Bob Dylan, and the definitive, verifiable, documented record of the United States Federal District Court of New Jersey's flagrant and irrefutable fraud upon the court, committed by the court and documented to the record of the court. When the court granted Bob Dylan the gag order, the court, became complicit in Bob Dylan's stealing of James Damiano's songs by assisting Bob Dylan to cover up the actual theft of the songs to the public. The court also attempted to cover up the illegal and unlawful dismissal of the lawsuit itself, which was also entered upon the record of the court. For starters, the United States District Court held James Damiano in contempt of Judge Joe B. Rosen's gag order with videotape depositions that incriminated Bob Dylan. The court then proceeded to cover up the fraud it committed. Holding James Damiano in contempt for posting deposition materials on the internet which incriminated Bob Dylan was the court's way of fooling the public into believing that James Damiano had done something wrong, even criminal. Now, 28 years later, the court's rulings have come to haunt them by exposing their extortion and nefarious behavior. Please keep in mind, this is a 28-year after-the-fact litigation gag order that's still in effect. After 27 years of patiently waiting for the court to make the ethical choice to lift the confidentiality order and admit to the documented bias it has committed in James Damiano's infringement lawsuit against Bob Dylan, the court leaves Damiano no choice but to call out the court. Admitting to the fact that for over 27 years, I, James Damiano, have intentionally and purposely disregarded Judge Rosen's gag order. In fact, as of the date of the recording of this video, I, James Damiano, still maintain a website that displays much of the information that is listed under the gag order. The website address is https://www.blowin.org. That's https://www.blowin.org. After 27 years of patiently waiting for the court to make the ethical choice to lift the confidentiality order and admit to the documented bias it has committed in James Damiano's infringement lawsuit against Bob Dylan, the court leaves Damiano no choice but to call out the court. Admitting to the fact that for over 27 years, I, James Damiano, have intentionally and purposely disregarded Judge Rosen's gag order. The ball is now in the hands of the court. They either take their shot or pass the ball.
Have you ever lied to Mr. Damiano?
Yes.
And can you list for me the times that you lied to him?
Many times, not many times, but on those occasions when he would ask me, could I pass on something to Mr. Dylan? I may have said to him, I'll try and pass it along, or words to that effect.
Okay, my first office, I had the door would be, say, in that corner. Over here, I had 2 file cabinets, a table, a small table to my left attached to my desk, an art desk in that corner, a bookcase right next to that, and next to that a file cabinet.
Okay, thank you.
The book that Jim had given me would be on that bookcase.
To your right?
To my right.
Okay. And what year did you receive that book initially?
I don't recall.
Okay. And what did it have in it?
It had a bunch of songs, or a bunch of, I guess, well, he called them songs, so I called them songs, but they were words written in verse form.
Was it in a binder, a folder?
It was in a binder.
Like a 3-ring binder?
3-ring binder.
And where is that today?
I do not know.
When was the last time you saw it?
When we were in the CBS building at 52 West 52nd Street.
And jury, you don't know what happened to them, those materials of songs or words?
No, I do not.
Just disappeared?
Well, when we moved from that building approximately 4 or 5 years ago, as I explained to Jim, we were to pack our own desks. We were pressed to work until the day we moved, pretty much. And the movers came in and packed everything else. There were things that were left behind.
And so could you pinpoint, Mr. Tiller, what year Mr. Damiano's book of songs or words disappeared from your office?
You did not say disappeared. You're mischaracterizing his testimony. You did not say they disappeared.
So
Well, if you mischaracterize the testimony...
Oh, that's an exception to our stipulation? So that means during Mr. Mintz's deposition, every time you... Did Mr. Damiano's songs, Mr. Tiller, disappear?
Could I have you rephrase that?
Sure. What happened to his songs that had been on your shelf for how long?
1.5, possibly 2 years.
Okay. The songs, or that binder, without... That binder disappeared, did it not?
They were left in the building when we moved.
And did you ever go back to retrieve it or to ask where it was?
No, I did not. There were...
And is that building still owned by CBS?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And that's CBS's headquarters, yes?
Yes.
And all we know now, and all the jury knows now, is that you don't have it, correct?
That is correct.
And Sony does not have it, to your knowledge.
Sony does not have it.
Right. Did you ever tell Mr. Damiano that his materials had been lost, or left behind, or disappeared?
Yes, I did.
And what did he say?
I can't recall exactly what he said. But I did tell him I was sorry.
Counsel, this is the second witness in a row, literally, who received materials from the plaintiff comprising one or more of his songs, where the materials have disappeared, whether you want to use the word disappeared, lost, destroyed, evaporated, whatever phrase you want to use. And I want the record to note that this is the second witness in a row. Mr. Mintz testified that he destroyed Mr. Damiano's fax materials. And no, not only did he destroy them, he went further. He said he shredded them.
Mm-hmm.
And now Mr. Tiller is saying that the binder of materials of songs that Mr. Tiller received got lost, disappeared, don't exist. Concert, if we may, to the time when you offered the tickets to Mr. Damiano before the concert actually took place. Okay. During that point in time when you offered the tickets to him and before he actually went to the concert, did you ever say to him or suggest to him that maybe he should bring some of his songs with him?
No, I did not.
Do you deny saying that, or is it you just don't recall one way or the other?
I deny suggesting to Jim that he bring songs along with him. I did, however, concur with him when he asked me do you think I should bring my songs with me? I said, sure, why not? What could it hurt?
The possibility of you giving him money